Calling to order the Planning Coordinating Committee for the GBN RTC for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. The time is 9:35. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please move on to the roll call.
County. Present. Maverick County.
Online? It's online.
Again. Buffalo.
Present.
Navajo.
Present. Here.
NFTA.
Doubly present.
DOT.
Present.
All accounted for.
Moving on to the approval of the meeting agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
DOT will make the motion.
Erie County seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Moving on to approval of the previous meeting minutes of February 4th, 2026. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Roy makes a motion.
Do we have a second?
Buffalo second.
City of Buffalo seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Shifting to communications report with Mike today.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it today as well as outside. Just a few quick updates on our communications report. There were a couple of stakeholder engagement events that our staff participated in, including the Live Well Erie Working Group, EPIDA managers meetings. A lot of public notices went out this past month as we're catching up with the new TIF. There's also public comments that came in that we'll talk about as part of the agenda later. The one big thing I wanted to highlight, we got a lot of mention in the media related to Mayor Ryan's proposal for City of Buffalo being the lead agency for the Region Central project or the Skagit-Aquidauct corridor redesign. So the reference was to GBNRT's central process, and the city is looking to lead that process going forward. There's also some statistics that I won't get deep into. Our social media followers, website traffic continues to stay steady. Other than that, I can try to answer any questions or take them back to Angelica and follow up as needed. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mike. Shifting to public participation. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak that are here in person today? Seeing none, do we have any members of the public that are online who have commented or would like to speak?
None online today.
Seeing none, we do not have any members of the public who would be participating today. Shifting then from proceedings to action items. First action item today is for Amendment 2, PIN 57065.18, Buffalo Transportation. It's a new project up for approval with Rich.
Thank you. Two tip actions to talk about today. One is to add a new project. The other is to modify an existing project. The first one we're going to talk about is PIN 576518. That is the Buffalo All Transportation. You may remember about 2 years ago, this won a CMAQ discretionary grant. It's finally ready. The item is in. We're ready to get it on 10. So Buffalo has requested to add this project that will address growing transportation challenges in Buffalo's downtown core. High traffic volumes during peak and near hours and major events create congestion and strain existing parking infrastructure. These conditions negatively will impact mobility, air quality, overall efficiency of the transportation system. Next slide, please. So there's three major components to this project. The first is a installation of electric bike share to be stationed at 4 or more downtown Buffalo parking ramps or residential area parking plan lots. The second is 20 car share vehicles citywide to be added once again at downtown lots managed by Civic Auto Ramps and also the back lots. And finally, electric vehicle charging stations installed at the Buffalo Civic Auto Ramps, parking ramps and back lots and other identified locations. The total cost of this project is $1.655 million. Fiscal constraint is maintained with a $1.32425 million CMAQ discretionary grant award, which was previously discussed. And 20% of the project will be required to be a local match, and City of Buffalo will be contributing $331,000. The anticipated obligation date or let is 4/15/27. We completed a 30-day public review period on March 6th. One comment was received, acknowledged, and forwarded both to the Buffalo Parking Commissioner and the Department of Public Works Commissioner. On February 9th, the Interagency Consultation Group for Air Quality Conformity conferred that this project is exempt for purposes of transportation conformity. Do we have any comments from Buffalo on this before we?
No, I think you covered it pretty well, Rich. Thank you.
Therefore, today's action would be to get this on the tip and approve the resolution 2026-4.
Now, the city of Buffalo would make a motion. Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Shifting to action item B, Rich.
Yes, this is the modification of an existing project. That project is 513450 bridge renewal on routes 5 and 20. DOT has requested to modify these projects to add additional design funding. That design funding is needed related to the bridge and culvert work due to preliminary estimating tools underestimating the cost. And preliminary design will therefore need to be increased by $938,000. Fiscal constraint will be maintained as the same amount, $938,000, will be transferred from an existing pavement maintenance block 5B1555. This modification was recommended by TPS on March 18th. The cost increase is over $500,000. Therefore, this needs to be approved by PCC. Tom or Nick, anything to add to this one?
Nothing to add.
All right. Therefore, today's action would be to approve this change as Ed mod number 6.
We have a motion to approve.
DOT will make a motion to approve.
To wait seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Shifting to action item C with Mike.
Thank you. Couple of administrative items that we need to cover today. The first is our office space lease renewal. So our office space lease is up on May 31st. And the board knows we have an RFP out right now. We've received proposals for new office space. We're still evaluating those. Even in the best case scenario, we wouldn't be able to make a decision to move within we can make a decision, but we can't be moving within the next 6 months. So considering that, I asked our current landlord, would you agree that we can stay for up to a year, but in 6 months have an out clause that we can go month to month if we are ready to move? And they said yes, at no increase of rents, which I also was surprised at, but that's a benefit to GBNRTC. So all the other lease terms remain unchanged. So it's essentially, we are voting to approve the same lease that we have for this year. We did this 1 year ago, approved a 1-year extension because we've been talking about office space for a while. I can answer any questions. If not, today's action is to approve the lease extension.
Do we have a motion to approve the lease extension?
NFTA motion.
DOT a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Action item D, again, Mike.
Thank you. So the next administrative item is pay scale increases. So GBNRTC staff by practice have always followed PEF pay scale increases. We're not PEF members, but that's just something we adopted when we started and have followed as long as GBNRTC has been around. PEF's contract expired yesterday. And they're in negotiation from what I can read on the internet, but we don't have any inside information as to what the status is. The way that we've handled this in the past is staff who are eligible for step increases. So our salary schedule has a range of pay, and that range of pay is divided up into 7 steps. So it's very similar to union members for your staffs. And staffs that are eligible for step increases on April 1st would get those step increases, but there would be no other salary adjustment. So the cost of living, which is typically the salary adjustment that PEF negotiates with the governor, those won't take effect because there's nothing to take effect right now. When PEF settles at some point, and the last time the contract went out on April 1st and they settled sometime during the summer, when that happens, assuming that it does, the director will come back with a new resolution that says, all right, this is what PEF settled on, please approve it. But in the meantime, we need to give NFTA the authorization to adjust the steps and just hold everyone else in abeyance until the settlement happens. Any questions? It's very similar to blue collar or white collar, in this case, union or negotiations, which I think many of you are familiar with. So, with that, we just need a motion to approve this and let NFTA keep us paid.
Seeing no questions or discussions, do we have a motion to approve resolution 2026-9? Do we have a NFTA? Is that- Do
Yep.
we have a second? Buffalo seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes, keeping people paid. Moving on to action item E with the gunman.
Thank you. So the last one is our memorandum of understanding. This is something that we approve every year. It's required by federal regulation. Essentially, the MOU talks about how we cooperate as all 7 member agencies. What are the responsibilities of each member? And a lot of it talks about how we share information on our planning and on our projects, which is something that we do continuously. It also talks about how NFTA is our host agency, our funding flows through them, and some other administrative items. So every year, this it was most recently done in February of 25. There's only one amendment that's being proposed in this, and it's specifically adding reference to the approved governance and operations plan. So the previous MOU just broadly said operations and governance procedures. Since we updated that last November, I specifically want to say governance and operations plan approved by resolution, yada, yada, last November. Other than that, it's the same as it's been for many, many years. So with that, I will, I can understand any questions and ask for a motion to approve during now.
Do we have a motion to,
I'm sorry, a motion to recommend a policy. Thank you. This is a policy action.
do we have a motion to recommend approval of the member MOU to policy committee?
You make a motion?
Do we have a second?
Erie County, second.
Erie County seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Thanks, everyone.
Shifting to discussion items. First item up is the public review report.
Yeah.
Yep, you
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no-
Leaving a message. Cool. So, as mentioned, we have lots of items out for public review. I just wanted to quickly review those and let you know, that, when the, public review period was going to end. The first one is transit safety performance measure targets. So as you know, we have several, performance measures that we follow. The targets that are set for those performance measures, most of them are renewed each year. Some of them are multi-year. So as they come up, we come to the board, we do a 30-day review and we update those as they come in. So these are for transit safety performance measures. So, in this particular case, NFTA approves the safety measures, passes them on to us. We have 6 months to either approve them or to come up with our own targets. Typically, we adopt the NFTA targets. So those are out for public review, and that'll go through April 20th. The second is New York Power Authority Bridge Replacement Project. This would add an illustrative project to the TIP and the long range plan. So if you're unfamiliar with illustrative projects, these are not funded projects. These are basically partially vetted projects. Should additional funding be available, they can move to the actual TIP program projects, and MPOs are not required to select or fund any illustrative projects. Just to give a little more details on this one, they're talking about replacing the existing superstructure of the bridge, which serves as a roof over the Power Authority's Robert Moses Niagara Power Plant. And the estimated cost of this is $162 million in 2029 dollars. And once again, public review for this project proposal, illustrative project proposal, will conclude on April 20th. Next slide, please. The third is a Buffalo paving program, phase 2. This project is actually on the tip currently. However, when the project was put on the tip, the list of project locations has changed. So therefore, we're considering this to be a significant scope change. It needs to go back to the public for public review, and we need to go through a significant scope change process, which typically means an amendment and a resolution. That one is also currently out until April 20th. Moving on to the FDA Section 5310 program. So this is the Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities projects. This action will add 10 new projects funded with Federal Transit Administration allocations. This one is out also until April 20th. I don't think we received PIN numbers yet, but as soon as we receive PIN numbers, those will be added to the public notice. Next slide, please. The next is the Twin Cities Highway paving project from the I-290 to Niagara County line. This is not the Connecting Communities project. This is just simply a paving project on the Erie County side. This will add the project to restore the pavement to good condition, and this project will be in public review until April 20th. Rapids Road shoulder widening. That's a tough one to say. County line to Route 93. So this project will reduce roadway departure crashes by providing standard with paved shoulders. So this is one of the projects that received an award from the Roadway Departure Safety Action Plan solicitation. We have another one that's coming out for the town of Amherst for a sign project, which is currently, I'm writing the public notice. So we'll talk about that one next month. This one is also in public review until April 20th. And I think that's it. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Shifting to discussion item B, CCAP Phase 3 overview with Kelly.
Good morning. So with Earth Day coming up in a few weeks, we thought this was a good meeting to update you on the activities of the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant funded through the Environmental Protection Agency. We kicked this off back in 2023. And I'm happy to report today that we have completed deliverables 1 and 2 out of 3 for this grant program. So by way of review, back in March of 2024, we approved, can go back one, the Priority Climate Action Plan, which set the stage for the most recent deliverable, but the completion of the comprehensive climate action plan for the Buffalo Niagara region. We submitted that back in December. And again, thank you to all of you for your input and feedback. And then we got the accepted stamp of approval from EPA in February, which has set the stage, next slide, for us to go forward and launch into phase 3 of the program that's going to take us through August of 2027. So we're excited to really kick off this third phase, which is all focused on implementation. And this busy schedule here outlines the activities that we have on deck through the rest of 2026 and into 2027, that third quarter. So we'll continue to meet with our steering group, which is the One Region Forward Implementation Council. We've got some community engagement on deck in terms of workshops. So one of the things that we had as a piece of the climate action plan, if you recall, is the implementation toolkit at the back of the plan. And what we want to do and what we're in the process of doing is rather pulling that toolkit out to make a standalone document that's more readily available and user-friendly for folks. So the implementation toolkit, again, focuses on key audiences, local governments, private businesses, community organizations, and residents, and using this toolkit to foster implementation efforts, lift up lessons learned. And so we're going to be doing workshops through the course of this third phase, focused on the toolkit. And again, trying to gather what's happening, what's already underway in the region, and foster other ways to help reduce GHG emissions through those 10 sectors that are out. So back in the Priority Climate Action Plan, one of the components of that piece per the EPA's requirement was to sort of have a list of projects underway in the region designed to reduce greenhouse gases. We're going to, in the process of going back to those projects to understand where are they now in terms of implementation, and again, what lessons can be lifted up and shared across the region to advance GHG reductions. So that's where we're starting. Further on in phase 3, we're also going to have a new call for projects to find out what's been happening and gotten underway or what's on deck forward to since that time, because again, the PCAP was adopted back in March of 2024. So we're going to play a little bit of catch up. We'll be developing case studies as part of phase 3. And again, it's all about implementation and spreading the word about mitigation efforts underway. What we intend to do is with some of these sort of case studies is create some videos, push those out through social media, and then potentially creating a map of sort of where some of these efforts are taking place in the region. So we've got some things cooking for phase 3 that we're excited to share. So stay tuned on that front. And again, we'll be tracking our progress. So as part of phase 3, the final deliverable of the grant is a status report due to EPA in August of 2027. So there's some requirements as part of that status report, the workforce analysis, funding opportunities, authority to implement some of these GHG mitigation efforts, all part of the CCAP, but then providing that update in August of 2027 as part of that report. If there have been any changes or additions, we want to note that. It's not a lot of time for the measures and the inventory to necessarily move the needle, but we will be revisiting the inventory and if there were any new data sources that come online, but taking a look at that inventory as well, and including that information and the status report in 2027. So we've got our implementation council meeting actually on Earth Day of their steering committee. And then we also, one of our initial outreach efforts will be presenting at the Western New York Sustainable Business Roundtable event on the 14th, which is designed to help navigate climate mitigation policy, but will be sort of one of the presentations on deck for that day. But some exciting things in store, but I'm happy to answer any questions if there are.
On the stakeholder engagement, can you just describe a little bit more on what we're planning?
Sure.
I heard a little bit about implementation activities, but.
Right. So the piece that we're really focusing on is that implementation toolkit. So we want to get that far and wide. And then we want to hold workshops by sector. So there's those 10 sectors in the plan: transportation, land use, waste, agriculture. So it's broad, and we recognize that, you know, people are really sometimes want to zero in on their own particular area. So we'll be focusing those engagement efforts and organizing them by sector. And then in some cases, it might even be breaking it down further. So is it, you know, local governments within a particular sector? One of the things that we're also interested in hearing back from, and I'm glad you asked that question, is, you know, are there technical assistance things that would be helpful to local municipalities or your organizations that would help advance maybe some climate mitigation efforts that you have underway or are on deck for your agency or organization? So in what ways is, you know, maybe could we design some of these workshops going forward that would be useful for some particular needs that haven't been addressed within your agency or organization?
Thank you, Kelly. Really appreciate the status report. We'll be shifting, I think you're still up, to the Go Buffalo Niagara CMAQ program summary.
I'm gonna hog the floor for a little bit. We have more CMAQ talk today. You heard it earlier. It's exciting to hear that the Buffalo's Alternative Transportation Program is coming on deck. Today, I just want to provide a summary of some CMAQ activities that have recently concluded under the Go Buffalo Niagara program. And I'm delighted to be joined by Christine Krolowitz, who is the current program manager for Go Buffalo Niagara. We're going to do a little frickin' frack routine here to let you know what's been going on for this program that took a while to get going, but has produced some exciting stuff for us in terms of helping us to reduce GHG in our region in the transportation realm. So I'm going to kick things off first by giving a little bit of history of TDM, Transportation Demand Management, for those that might not be close to this type of work. And then I'm going to turn things over to Christine to dive into sort of more information on the detailed activities under the program over the past few years. So if we go into the Wayback Machine a little bit, in the early 2010s, Transportation Demand Management really got cooking initially in our region on the medical campus. And why was that? Well, if you look at sort of those bullets on the left side, you had a 120-acre campus. Today, there are 16,000 employees on those 120 acres. And on average, about 1.5 million visitors a year. So a lot of different trips. And with the hospitals and such, it's on a 24/7 cycle. So dense development with those 9 member institutions, private companies. So this really created the space for congestion and some parking pain points over time. And so the medical campus team reached out and took advantage of some research grant opportunities through NYSERDA and NYSDOT to develop some strategies to advance transportation management on the campus, create more options, because not everybody can drive there. There wouldn't be enough room. So that's really how things got going. And they were so successful. Next slide. Within a couple of years, they were starting to get calls. What are you doing? What is this program that you're doing from other parts of the region and around the state? And so it got to a point where they reached out to GBNRTC and said, I think it's about time that we scale some of this up to the regional level. And we're happy to share what we're doing, but there's other people who apparently need this type of support in the region. And so it takes a village, as it often does. And so we were very happy that our partners at NFTA, Go Bike, the medical campus, and the partnership came together. Next slide. And we went after another NYSERDA NYSDOT PON opportunity to scale up the efforts and study how would we scale up the efforts on the medical campus to a regional level. And so we were awarded this grant in 2015 to develop a business plan. What would a Go Buffalo Niagara region-wide transportation management organization look like? What would the structure be? What funding sources could it tap into to provide those services? Where should it be located? What makes sense for our region? Next slide. From that effort, in 2017, we adopted the business plan. The recommended structure was to have the regional program housed at Go Bike, and that would provide support for various future Go districts. We already kind of had the existence of Go BNMC on the medical campus, but other future Go districts that would come online. And so the culmination of that grant effort resulted in this 2018 report that was submitted. It's available online. Next slide. And a grant, 2018 was a busy year, so we submitted the report, and one of the identified funding sources for transportation management associations, the prime funding source is CMAQ. And so that group, our partners collectively applied for feedback and were awarded that grant. We have to thank Darren Kempner at FTA because CMAC is FHWA funding that needed to be flexed over to FTA. And that's not necessarily a quick process. And so we're very thankful for that. So that took a little bit. We got going a little bit and then that pesky pandemic thing happened. As we all know, that really transformed our journey to work. And so we really had to go back and rethink some things that we initially laid out in the grant program that we thought would work well. I kind of laugh now because prior to the pandemic, it was crickets whenever you mentioned telework. It's like, what is that? So we revamped things, and these are some of the major activities kind of that post-pandemic have been underway. And I'm going to turn things over to Christine here to talk about these in more detail.
Thank you, Kelly, for outlining all of that history. And thank you to everyone in this room who really had the foresight to create a transportation management association for our region. I just want to give a little highlight reel of what we've been up to the past 5 years and maybe some ideas of where it can go and continue the momentum. Commuter Rewards is, I guess, like one of our basic programs that we offer to commuters in the region, both Erie and Niagara counties. It's a portal through this Commutify platform where anyone can log their active and sustainable commutes to get in on a raffle we host every month for $50 Shop 716 e-gift card. As you can imagine, it's not that motivating, but it has built a great network of hundreds of people who are already, I like to say, walking the walk and doing anything except driving alone to get to work on a regular basis. So we can really see how things are rolling already. Next program I want to talk about, next slide, is Guaranteed Ride Home. This one really does start to move the needle and get people thinking about getting out of their car. It's a nice tool to have in your back pocket because it's a free Uber ride in case of a commuting emergency. Maybe something happens with your carpool driver, you miss the bus, a weather emergency when you're riding your bike, all those kinds of things are covered up to $200 a year if you're an eligible commuter, which means that you're already not relying on a personal vehicle or you're trying to make a shift. So again, we've actually seen this helping people who are considering making a change. On the next slide, I have some fun facts. So there's 363 people who have registered over the years. It's exponentially grown. I'm getting multiple applications a day still. Over 1,000 rides provided to the tune of about $25,000 over the years. And that has saved over 6,000 miles of single occupancy vehicle trips. So if you think about it, someone got to work by carpooling or riding their bike. And then for the other leg, they did need a ride share for that. But it saved exactly 120 trees already. So it's a good way to think about it. Next slide is a campaign we did each year in 2022, 23, and 24, Give Transit a Try. 2023 was the biggest year for this. Almost 200 people signed up to buy an NFTA 30-day unlimited ride pass. Normally $75, they got it through us for $35, thanks to a $40 discount. Next slide on that. What I like about this program and all of our programs is not only are we helping people who are already using other modes besides driving alone, as you can see here, the majority were people who were already taking the NFTA, and this helped them out for a month. But over a third were people who were driving alone to work, and they were literally giving transit a try. Next slide. The region-wide bike parking program put over 200 or almost 250 bike racks out into the community, including 75 on the east side. This was prioritized for areas near transit and also with public access in the right of way. This is an example on the west side at Big Table. Those are 3 of the kind of racks that we got out there, very state of the art. Next. Bike to Work Week. This is an annual tradition near and dear to my heart. This is how I got started in active transportation years ago. And I think it's a great framework for people to get involved because others are doing the same thing this week in May. And in 2023, we had a really good program where we were tracking stuff. There was 88 people who tracked 266 trips over that week. And there was 1,700 miles to work on bikes, which is awesome. Continuing on to the next slide. Meanwhile, during this past 5 years with the CMAQ funding, we've also had opportunities in other areas of the region. Clean Mobility Buffalo is one of them. This is a NYSERDA grant project on the east side, and just one small part of it was us working with these 6 major employers to offer transportation benefits to their workforce, with the support of BNFC Transportation, as Kelly mentioned, is a leader in this, and along with us to kind of guide that process to put some pilot programs out there for these companies. They each got almost $40,000 to try stuff. So that was really fun the past few years, and I want to show you some of those pilot programs. On-demand bike and walk rewards. Roswell did this, and as opposed to our region-wide program where it's on our system, this one is an app that we used that had geolocation. So when you rode your bike to work or walked to work, it recognized it and literally gave you $5 in your digital wallet on your phone. And we had 75 people participating last year during the biking season, May to September. On the next slide, this is super exciting. We can actually see people making changes. So 16% of those participants maxed out the program. They got $200 in rewards, and 19 of them actually were now biking to work instead of driving alone. We had, before and after surveys, and we're able to show this. And I like to put it in terms of Roswell Park. It was the equivalent of 36 radiotherapy sessions and emissions saved. Next program is a Try Transit raffle. This is kind of like Give Transit a Try, like picked up a notch. So Kaleida did this, and it was a completely free 30-day NFTA pass. They had 25 of them they raffled off. The cool part was 100 people applied for it, and then those 100 people got information about the corporate pass program that the NFTA offers, where employees can sign up to get a discounted transit pass pre-tax through their paycheck. So it was a great way to build awareness about that and give people, again, a chance to try transit. Very similar here, where approximately a third of people were already using transit, but again, over half of the people went from using it very little to as much as several times a week over the course of that month. And this sounds small, but this is huge. One person actually did sign up for the corporate pass program that we could directly track to this pilot. Next slide. And then if you know Veridi, which is a great company doing batteries on the east side, they were very creative with their pilot program funds and wanted to create something self-sustaining. So they used a pool of that funds to purchase e-bikes that their employees could buy over time through their paycheck. And then that creates this self-sustaining program that they can continue to offer this to other employees over time. And during the program, it was just 3 months long. One employee replaced almost 1,000 miles of car travel with e-bike trips. So I really look forward to doing this kind of thing with other employers in the future. Another thing Go Buffalo Niagara has worked on over the years are TDM plans. We know that the city has a TDM policy that is hopefully going to be more and more enforced, and we'll have more of these opportunities, but Go Buffalo Niagara did plans for 201 Ellicott, which you might be familiar with, Evergreen, Kensington Bailey project, and the 1035 Jefferson project. So experience with this and looking forward to more opportunities in that area as well. So what we're focusing on this year, now that CMAQ is over, we are going to continue working with Erie County right here in this building. I think this is like my 4th home or something. They've been a wonderful member since the beginning and a leader in the space as well. And through the Clean Mobility Program, we now have members, ECMC, Canisius, and Harmac, that will be continuing working with us over the course of the next year and building off of those pilot programs we did with them. Next slide. As for the other 2 members that were part of the Clean Mobility Program on the east side, we're still going to be working with them through our TDM contract that we have ongoing with the BNMC. So Kaleida and Roswell are now even more engaged in all of this. And Go Buffalo Niagara will continue to run the Healthy Commuter Benefits program for the BNMC. Things like secure bike parking, free Ready Bike Share memberships, and a lot of the other things we've already talked about. We run this program for all of those 16,000 employees and promote it on a regular basis. And then one other thing we're working on through a DEC grant is in the West Village. Again, promoting very similar things, the on-demand rewards, subsidized transit passes, bike share memberships, and excitingly, also a car share for that neighborhood. So I'm really excited to be promoting that as well in this coming year. And I think that wraps it all up. Here's my information if you want to continue the conversation, but thank you guys so much and let me know if you have any questions.
Are there any programs that are upcoming that you just want to let people know about, that maybe have built off or are similar to some of the programs, the pilot programs that we saw here?
So right now, we're really just working to restructure what we've done to be able to sustain it. So thank you for asking that. Guaranteed Ride Home in particular, we've restructured to make it more sustainable and more flexible for users. It was originally Guaranteed Ride Home. Now it's Guaranteed Ride because when you miss the bus to work, that's actually worse. So it's had a lot more growth since then, which is tough now that there's no funding. I did kind of a deep dive into how other communities support Guaranteed Ride Home because it is just like a really basic TDM benefit that's needed for commuters in any region. Albany, I believe their transit authority actually uses operating revenue for their Guaranteed Ride program. And then downstate, the DOT has CMAQ funds for Guaranteed Ride Home. So that's one thing we're really thinking a lot about right now is how to sustain that because we really can't do any of the other work without having that piece. But yeah, this year, really looking forward to digging into the west side after having worked on the east side a lot and getting more in depth with the medical campus. We have an ongoing tradition of Bike to Work Day. And this year is our second annual bike battle. So last year there were 10 companies that did like a round robin style tournament. And I think we already have 12 signed up this year. NFTA is one of them. So we look forward to not just tracking bike trips, but it's also, you actually get like triple the amount of points for transit trips. And then walking actually gets more trips than, or more points than biking because it's a little more effort to go a mile walking, I believe. But that's what I'm excited about for this year.
Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Really appreciate the time.
I got a couple more.
Oh, sorry.
Slides too.
Apologies.
So, okay, that's one. I'll be here. Yeah, no worries. Oh, okay. All right. So just some lessons learned that I did want to talk about. And while the CMAQ piece has come to a close in this initial phase, we are exploring different opportunities to continue some of those activities going forward. What's exciting is that there are some things on deck. I was hoping that to introduce Gina Spicola, excuse me, from Commissioner Booth's team at the Office of Parking. She provided these slides to just give a preview of what's on deck in terms of next steps with the city. What we've learned over the past several years through TDM, and I want to thank Christine for all of her work, and I also want to recognize Brendan Sini as we were collecting our thoughts and sort of putting together this program summary for you. It's really most effective when it's paired with land use policy. So that transportation land use connection is really important. Walkable communities. That density when paired with investments in public transportation. Before Brendan joined us, he was a program manager at a former life for Go Buffalo Niagara. So this program is near and dear to our hearts. But it is that importance of the transportation land use connection. And also a lot of results for transportation demand management are affected by externalities. If there's excess parking, it's most effective in places that have long commutes, sustained congestion. When fuel prices go up, you do see people think about changing their behavior and taking other options. And so, unfortunately, that seems to be maybe one externality that we're all faced with currently, but we don't, as a whole in our region, experience a lot of these sort of negative, for better or for worse, externalities as some larger metropolitan areas. So it is important that there's that land use coordination. And as Christine alluded to, the Office of Parking is looking to implement that green code transportation demand management policy. So that's a little bit back again into the Wayback Machine. It was adopted in 2017. Section 8.4 focuses on TDM and the green code. And so there are plans that have been developed. Going forward, the city wants to see, again, plans submitted, required in the case of new development over 5,000 square feet, or if there's a significant renovation to an existing structure over 50,000 square feet and a change in use. That's where another plan for transportation demand management is required. And then wanting to make sure that those plans are implemented, that the activities outlined in those plans are happening. So, looking at a life cycle of accountability going forward, and tracking those activities to help see what progress is being made in terms of creating different options for people to get around and live, work, and play in the city of Buffalo. Next slide. And again, the desired outcome, looking to have fewer single occupancy vehicle trips, more transit use. And when you talk about, walkable areas, and transit, safe opportunities for biking, that's the GO district, right? So this is an exciting thing on deck. And again, just looking to enforce that policy created back in 2017 going forward. So Gia apologizes that she couldn't join us today, but if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to connect you to her and try to answer any questions that you have for either one of us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
very much.
Moving over to discussion item D, the traffic count program, the 2025 summary and 2026 outlook.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our traffic count program, give you a brief overview, and also talk about what was accomplished in 2025 and what's.
You should introduce yourself quickly. I don't know if everyone knows you.
Yes. Most of you who don't know me, I'm Bowden Powell here at the GBNRTC, and I'm a transportation analyst here. Been here for over 20 years, actually. So yes, our traffic count program. I'm going to give a brief overview. Going to talk about what was done in 2025 and also what's to come up in 2026. Here at the GBNRTC, we've had a traffic count program in place for over the last 30 years, and the traffic data is collected yearly. And this traffic data is used by us, the GBNRTC, and it's also used by our member agencies. This information, the traffic data, it's the basis, kind of like the ground roots for modeling, traffic forecasting, and also developing our long-range transportation plans. This data is also useful for corridor-related studies, as well as assessing the impacts of specific transportation projects and development proposals. About every year, we try to do around 150 turning movement counts and around 350 ATR counts. I'm going to get a little bit in detail about the difference between those two type of counts, the turning movement counts, as well as the ATR counts. We can go to the next slide. So the turning movement counts, these are basically your intersection counts. And they are a count that captures all of the movements that occur at the intersection, turning right, left, going through, whatever's at the intersection, we can count it. Typically, we count during good weather months, typically during the summer or springtime. Sometimes we get into the fall. These counts take place Monday through Friday. And also for our turn movement counts, we count them 8 hours per day. And those 8 hours consist of the peak hour times, which occur during the AM commute to work, the midday lunchtime travel, and then also the PM peak, the commute home. This data is broken down into 15-minute intervals. It can be broken down lower than that if need be, or you can just look at the hours. With the turning movement counts, we count autos, trucks, bicycles, and pedestrians. We're also able to break that down further if needed. Say, for instance, if you want to see the amount of buses or you want to see the amount of semis and so forth. We can go to the next slide. So the other type of count, the ATR counts or the automated traffic recorder counts. These are commonly called the tube counts. You may have seen tubes along the road. Those captures the vehicular data as well. And these are typically done over a 24-hour period, a 48-hour period, or even a 7-day period. We really want to capture a good 3 days worth of data for the ATR counts. With the ATR counts, we're able to develop a AADT, an annual daily traffic volume for that road segment. These type of counts differ from the turning movement counts, being that these counts capture the amount of vehicle traffic that is traveling within a specific road segment, as opposed to the intersection counts, it's the turning movements at the intersection. And those counts, ATR counts, only vehicles are reported. For bikes, pedestrians, and those modes of travel, we use the turning movement counts. So 2025, we counted around 150 intersection counts. And you can see this map right here is a map showing the locations that were counted. We counted multiple intersections along Delaware Avenue in the city of Buffalo, Main Street in the city of Buffalo. A lot of counts occurred along Abbott Road from the city of Buffalo down to Lackawanna. And also in Niagara Falls, Pine Avenue, we did a lot of counts along that area, Packard Road also as well. And some counts along Niagara Falls Boulevard in Wheatfield. All of these turning movement counts can be viewed on our GBNRTC online traffic database. And you could click on there, you can follow the link, and when you look at that map, you can see various breakdowns and more diagrams of the traffic. So for 2025 also, we completed 398 ATR counts. That map is showing our ATR counts, and we try to update these counts on kind of like a 3 to 5 year cycle. And they take place all throughout area in Niagara County. Whatever is needed, whatever studies are being worked on, or whatever kind of requested, we will get those counts done. Our ATR counts, we give those over to New York State, NISDOT, and they will put them on their New York State Traffic Data Viewer. And you can check out the New York State Traffic Data Viewer, where you can see historical information of all of the ATR counts that take place within area in Niagara County. Yes. Coming up for 2026, we're actually going to be starting a new contract. Our last contract, which was from 2024 and 2025, that just ended. And we are starting up a new contract that's going to be put into place roughly next month. Both our turning movement counts and ATR counts will be conducted by consultants. Years ago, when I first started, we were counting TMCs by hand, sitting out at the intersection with a little device. But technology has greatly improved over the time, and now they're putting out the cameras out there, and that's mainly the source of how we get the traffic data. This new contract will run for 5 years, 2026 through 2030. We are also taking requests from member agencies. If you have a specific project, or if you're looking to have some counts done along road segments or intersections, feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and get those to me as soon as possible. We're going to be starting up real soon. Okay, so that's the traffic count program and
Any discussion or questions on traffic count? Nope. Supposed to be sticking with Volney for the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program announcement.
Okay, yes, so moving on. The Safe Streets for All grant program. In 2021, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act established the Safe Streets for All competitive grant program, which is allocating $5 billion over 5 years, 2022 through 2026. This Safe Streets for All program funds regional, local, and tribal initiatives through grants to prevent roadway fatalities and serious injuries. Combining the years from 2022 through 2025, about $3.9 billion in federal funding has been awarded to over 2,000 communities in the country. In 2023, the GBNRTC was awarded a Safe Streets for All planning and demonstration grant to develop a comprehensive roadway safety action plan. In 2025, we adopted this plan and we adopted the roadway all user crash elimination plan, which is known as the RACE plan. This plan can be used by municipalities in area Niagara counties to apply for Safe Streets for All implementation grants. This fiscal year, the notice of funding opportunity for the Safe Streets for All program is now open. And there is almost close to $1 billion left for this year. Eligible applicants for the Safe Streets for All grant include MPOs, political subdivisions of states and territories, for example, counties, towns, cities, special districts, transit agencies, and similar local governments, and also federally recognized tribal governments. For the grant for 2026, the deadline for applications is May 26th. So that's coming up real soon. So there are 2 types of grants with the Safe Streets for All program that you can apply for. There is a planning and demonstration grant, which is used to develop a safety action plan or carry out demonstration activities that inform an action plan. Then the other grant is an implementation grant, which is used to implement those strategies that were developed with an existing action plan, and also bundle funded requests for supplemental planning and demonstration activities that inform the action plan. So basically, if you already have an action plan, or if you're using a project that is on an existing action plan, say for instance, the RACE plan that we have at the GBNRTC, if a plan is on there and you are a municipality, you can apply for an implementation grant to further have that carried out. Otherwise, you would have to start at the first stage with the planning and demonstration grant. And for this go around, you only can apply for one or the other. More information can be found on the transportation, the transportation government site under grants and Safe Streets for All. Under their frequently asked questions, you can find basically tons of more information regarding the Safe Streets for All grant program for this year. I think that's it. Yes. Any questions? Traffic program or Safe Streets for All?
Thank you, Volney. Appreciate it.
I had a quick question for the members. Is anyone a definite yes, a definite no? Maybe, I know it's very early for Safe Streets for All, so someone's giving a thumbs up, that's the city's in. The county's in. Yes. Okay.
I don't, she
You
probably told me,
read
I
up the
forgot.
plan, yeah.
I probably forgot.
Okay. And the state will probably figure something to the level, but that's, yeah.
And just to make everything a little bit more confusing, this is in addition to the current round of roadway departure safety action plan grants. So we have two safety programs that are out right now. So if anyone needs help with either of those, or using the race plan, there's a dashboard which we've shown members multiple times. We've sent an email around. You need a link to it's right on our safety page, so gbnrtc.org/safety. You can get right into the dashboard, look at different areas for roadway departure or any other type of fatal or serious injury accident. But just to let everyone know, there are two different solicitations out now for safety projects.
If I can also just add something about the count program, more and more we're receiving requests for speed data, and the ATR accounts that only talked about can produce speeds, average speeds, but is not the preferred method to get speed data. So NISDOT has deemed it acceptable practice to utilize that data when it's the only source. Many of the major consulting firms also utilize that in projects going forward, but radar is still the preferred means to obtain speed data because it's actually movement speed. I mean, there's also other sources like the transmit data for the Easy Pass readers. There's GPS data like in our street light data that we utilize, but these are all point-to-point data sets that are really travel times that are converted to speeds. Radar is the only acceptable movement that's being recorded that's really recording speed data. Again, the ATR counts, which are fairly accurate, it's really looking at axle to axle travel time, and those can be differentiated per vehicle. So, but with our other sources, we can validate that speed data, and if we do not have radar in place, you utilize the collection of our different sources to really come up with the average speed. So if that's something that you're looking for, you can reach out for that information as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Volney. Shifting to the status report, we'll move into member agency reports. Today we'll start with NFTA and pass to the right.
Thanks. I have two items. One, over the next 6 months, on Metro Rail, we'll be single tracking on and off. So I can't keep track, so just check the website and that should have updated information there. Second one, the NFTA partnered with Transit app, which is a great app if you haven't used it, to bring additional features called Transit Royale. And it is as good as a quarter pounder with cheese, trust me. The Royale app has bike share on there, as well as a number of real-time tracking features for using transit. So make sure to download the Transit app.
Thanks. From the city of Buffalo, just a number of projects that are kicking off in construction. Mother Nature is finally broke, so we're off and running on a number of projects and more to come. So just happy to see construction season. Keep an eye out for our workers, our contractor workers, and we'll put more and more out through the season.
Erie County, same thing. They're all starting this week, so can you provide those?
All right, from DOT, two things. One, we're still waiting on word from main office on ESTIP opening back up as the new version, which is Project Tracker. Hoping to hear something today. Today was supposed to be the date that it was open. Still not heard. I'll have a meeting this afternoon and hopefully we'll get some good news, but we'll let everyone know that it'll back open some business. And as Rich mentioned about roadway departure, just to clarify, those applications are due April 17th. So a couple more weeks to work on those if you need to. So that's it for me.
Just construction season is kicking off. We have two big projects this summer. Exit 53 of the 190 all the way to Louisiana. There's going to be reconstruction on that. And then also from interchange 50 to William Street. Those are two big projects. Been working with NITEC. They will have traffic impacts, obviously, due to the volumes and them being main arteries. So we'll be setting a campaign to get out to the media, kind of the detours we'll have in place, but that's all I have.
And then from NITEC, just a reminder, if you need to see what construction projects are happening and what, we have a list of them all on our website that are updated weekly or as conditions change, we update those. So that's the public side. But also All Roads has even more details, in there as well. So if you don't have access to All Roads, reach out to me because we can get accounts set up, but that's I'll say the agency, access, but otherwise you can get everything on the public website.
No updates today from the city of Niagara Falls. So let's shift over to the director's report. Mike?
Okay, I just wanted to, say thank you. Most of the people in this room know, that this is my last transition to a very exciting opportunity. With NFPA, still working with many of you, which is, certainly a big benefit from my perspective, but for those in the room, I'll start with my team publicly. Thank you. GBNRTC staff is excellent, and it made my job very much easier supporting all of the members. And I'm very confident that they'll be able to continue this work. Both the team that's been there long before I was here and the new folks that we've brought on. It's a great team. To the board, thank you. This has been an honor to serve this organization, a job that I've really enjoyed and one that I think prepared me well to continue to serve this region well and continue to work with you. So thank you for all of you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll shift over to executive session. Mike, would you like to give a little preamble?
Let me, I'm gonna say some things that I gotta say for open meetings law, but the public thing is, y'all gotta scoop. With my transition, but we're doing an executive session to discuss personnel and contractors. We're also going to talk about a little bit about the office space. So for everyone, please make your way out, and then we'll start the executive session in a moment.